On the surface, the Countess of Chester Hospital in northwest England was an ordinary place. Tucked in the historic Roman city of Chester, the hospital was a trusted cornerstone of the community, a place where new life began, where anxious parents waited for first cries, and where dedicated staff worked tirelessly to give fragile newborns a chance at life. But behind those sterile walls, between the beeping of monitors and the soft hum of ventilators, something was deeply wrong. And no one, not the doctors, not the parents, not even the hospital administrators, could see it at first. This is the story of Lucy Letby, a neonatal nurse once described as sweet, dedicated, and gentle. A woman who posed for smiling photos with new parents and celebrated the tiniest victories of premature babies. But beneath that carefully constructed image lay a chilling truth, one that would eventually expose one of the worst serial child killers in modern British history. Lucy Letby was born on January 4, 1990, in Hereford, England. She grew up as the only child of John and Susan Letby, middle-class parents who doted on their daughter. Friends described Lucy as quiet, bookish, and kind. She loved animals, studied hard, and dreamed of working with children. After graduating from the University of Chester with a nursing degree in 2011, Letby achieved what she'd long hoped for: a full-time position in the hospital's neonatal unit, a highly specialized ward caring for premature and critically ill babies. It was a challenging environment. These were the most vulnerable patients imaginable, some weighing barely a pound, clinging to life with every breath. Nurses here needed sharp clinical skills, emotional resilience, and unwavering compassion. To her colleagues, Lucy seemed to fit the bill perfectly. She was dedicated and often volunteered for extra shifts. She kept in touch with former patients' families and appeared deeply invested in her work. No one suspected that the very nurse entrusted to save lives was quietly taking them. It started subtly, too subtly for anyone to see the pattern. In June 2015, the neonatal unit experienced a sudden and alarming surge in unexpected baby collapses. Premature infants who had been stable would suddenly deteriorate, gasping for breath, suffering cardiac arrests, or dying without warning. At first, doctors blamed underlying conditions. These babies were fragile, after all. But something was off. The collapses were happening in clusters, and always on Letby's shifts. June 8, 2015, baby A, a premature twin boy, suddenly collapsed and died just hours after birth. He had been stable. June 9, 2015, baby B, his twin sister, nearly died under mysterious circumstances the very next night, again with Letby present. June 14, 2015. Baby C collapsed without explanation. June 22, 2015. Baby D, a girl who was improving, suddenly died. The pattern deepened. Babies who were doing well inexplicably crashed. Autopsies revealed air in their bloodstreams, a condition known as air embolism, or massive insulin overdoses in infants who had never needed insulin. It was terrifying. By the end of 2015, the unit had recorded at least 15 unusual collapses and deaths, far higher than average. Yet no one had answers. Doctors began whispering among themselves. Pediatric consultant Dr. Stephen Brary, the unit's lead physician, was one of the first to voice concern. He noticed that every single one of the suspicious events had occurred when Lucy Letby was on duty. In one particularly shocking case, a premature infant showed dangerously high insulin levels. Hospital records later showed that only Lucy had been on duty during the time the insulin was administered, and there was no medical reason for the baby to have received it. Breary and other consultants raised alarms with hospital management as early as June 2015. But rather than investigate Lucy, administrators dismissed their concerns, warning them against making accusations without concrete proof. Some doctors were even told to apologize to Lucy for questioning her professionalism. What investigators would later uncover was horrifying in its simplicity. Lucy Letby had exploited her access and trust to kill in several ways, injecting air into babies' bloodstreams or stomachs, causing sudden collapse or death, overdosing infants with insulin, triggering fatal hypoglycemia, physically assaulting babies, causing liver injuries rarely seen except in extreme trauma. Her methods left few traces. Most of the infants were already vulnerable, and their collapses could be explained away, until the sheer number and timing became impossible to ignore. Behind the scenes, Letby maintained her facade. She wrote sympathy cards to grieving parents and attended funerals. On social media, she posted smiling selfies and shared inspirational quotes. One chilling message she wrote read, "There are no words. A life so brief. A child so small. You will always have a piece of my heart." It was as if she was feeding off the grief she had caused. By early 2016, the situation was untenable. Too many babies had died or suffered catastrophic collapses without explanation. Again, Dr. Brary and his colleagues demanded action. Finally, in July 2016, the hospital agreed to remove Lucy from the neonatal unit, but not to fire her. Instead, she was quietly reassigned to a clerical role in the patient safety office. The death stopped immediately. It was the strongest evidence yet that Letby was behind the wave of tragedies. And yet, the hospital still refused to alert police. It would take almost 2 more years before law enforcement became involved. By May 2017, nearly 2 years after the first unexplained deaths, doctors at the Countess of Chester Hospital had reached their breaking point. Their warnings had been ignored, babies had died, and the pattern was undeniable. This time, they went outside the hospital, taking their concerns directly to the Cheshire police. The investigation that followed was given the codename Operation Hummingbird. It would become one of the most complex and sensitive inquiries in British criminal history, not only because of the victims' ages, but because the suspect was someone no one wanted to believe capable of such evil. Detectives began with a simple but chilling question. Why were so many babies dying, and why only on one nurse's shifts? They pored over thousands of pages of medical records, shift rosters, and staff logs. What they found was staggering. Over 30 sudden collapses and deaths occurred between June 2015 and June 2016. In every single case, Lucy Letby was either the primary nurse or present in the unit. When Letby was off duty, there were no suspicious incidents. Investigators focused on 17 babies initially, 7 who had died, and 10 who had collapsed but survived. As forensic experts examined samples and autopsy reports, they began to identify patterns: air embolisms, bubbles in the bloodstream, a rare cause of death that matched several of the collapses, unexplained insulin overdoses in 2 babies, abdominal distension and internal injuries consistent with deliberate trauma. This was not coincidence. It was murder, calculated, repeated, and hidden in plain sight. On July 3, 2018, 3 years after the first suspicious death, police arrived at Lucy Letby's Chester home with a search warrant. What they found was deeply disturbing. Hidden among nursing notes and hospital papers was a handwritten note that would become one of the most infamous pieces of evidence in British criminal history. On a yellow post-it, Lucy had scrawled, "I am evil. I did this." Other lines read, "I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough. I don't deserve to live. I am a horrible, evil person." To detectives, the note was a chilling confession, a glimpse into the twisted mind behind the smiling nurse. But Lucy denied everything. She told police she was struggling with the trauma of losing patients, not admitting guilt. Still, the evidence was piling up. July 3, 2018, Lucy Letby was arrested for the first time on suspicion of multiple counts of murder and attempted murder. After 3 days of questioning, she was released on bail. June 10, 2019. She was arrested a second time as police uncovered more evidence. Again, she was released pending further investigation. November 10, 2020. Letby was arrested a third time. This time, she was charged with 8 counts of murder and 10 counts of attempted murder involving 17 babies. The charges shook the UK. A young woman once trusted to save lives was now accused of being Britain's most prolific child serial killer in modern times. For many of the parents, the news was devastating. They had spent years believing their babies' deaths were tragic accidents. Now, detectives were telling them that someone had done this deliberately. And not just anyone, but the nurse they had hugged and thanked. Some parents recalled how Lucy had comforted them in their grief. One mother remembered Lucy taking a photo of her dead child dressed in a knitted outfit, a memory she had once cherished. Now it felt grotesque. Others remembered how Lucy had volunteered to care for their babies or stayed beyond her shift. Things that had once seemed compassionate, now sinister. As the investigation continued, the families united in their determination to see justice done. Their children's names, Baby A, Baby C, Baby E, Baby I, and others, would become symbols of a fight for answers. By late 2021, prosecutors believed they had built an airtight case. They alleged that between June 2015 and June 2016, Lucy Letby had murdered 7 babies, 5 boys and 2 girls, attempted to murder 6 more babies, some of them multiple times. The Crown Prosecution Service, CPS, argued that Letby's actions were not random. They followed deliberate, calculated methods intended to inflict harm while avoiding detection. The motive, prosecutors suggested, was complex. Lucy appeared to crave attention and sympathy. She thrived on the drama that followed medical emergencies and may have sought validation from colleagues and doctors. Some experts describe this as hero syndrome, harming patients to then appear as the savior. Others pointed to Letby's writings and psychological profile, suggesting deep-seated feelings of inadequacy and a need for control in a high-pressure environment. Whatever the motive, the outcome was the same. Innocent babies died in her care. On October 4, 2022, after nearly 7 years of investigation, Lucy Letby finally walked into Manchester Crown Court, accused of crimes so horrific they shocked even veteran detectives. The charges were clear: 7 counts of murder, 15 counts of attempted murder. Victims: 17 premature babies, identified only as Baby A through Baby Q, to protect the family's privacy. The courtroom was silent as the clerk read each name, each count, and each time, Lucy softly replied, "Not guilty." Sitting in the dock, dressed neatly, hair tied back, she looked nothing like the monster prosecutors described. But the parents watching from the gallery knew the stakes. This trial was not just about justice, it was about truth. Prosecution's opening: a poisoner in the nursery. Lead prosecutor Nick Johnson, KC, began with a chilling declaration. Lucy Letby was a constant, malevolent presence in the neonatal unit. She gaslighted colleagues and attacked the most vulnerable children deliberately and methodically. He described a nurse who used her medical knowledge as a weapon, inflicting harm in ways that left little trace at injecting air into babies' bloodstreams, causing fatal embolisms, administering insulin overdoses, causing sudden collapses, forcing milk and fluids into fragile stomachs, leading to internal injuries, physically assaulting babies, even fracturing ribs. The prosecution's theory was devastating. Letby murdered for power and attention. She thrived in chaos. When babies collapsed, she was always there, often the first to raise the alarm, the first to attempt resuscitation, and the first to comfort devastated parents. Baby A, the beginning of the nightmare. The trial focused on each victim in turn. It began with Baby a boy born prematurely but stable. On June 8, 2015, Lucy was assigned as his nurse. Within hours, his condition crashed inexplicably. Despite resuscitation efforts, baby A died. Medical experts testified that the cause was likely an air embolism, bubbles in his bloodstream. It was rare, unnatural, and entirely preventable. The prosecution argued that Lucy injected air directly into his IV line, a deliberate act disguised as routine care. Baby B attacked the next day. Shockingly, the very next day, baby B, the twin sister of baby A, suffered a sudden collapse, again on Lucy's watch. This time she survived, but her symptoms mirrored those of her brother. Dr. Stephen Brary, the lead consultant, testified that the timing was deeply troubling and that Lucy's presence during both incidents was too coincidental to ignore. The insulin attacks. Two other cases, baby F and baby L, revealed a different method: insulin poisoning. Blood tests showed insulin levels so high they were off the scale, yet neither baby had been prescribed it. Prosecutors revealed that only Lucy Letby had access to the medications and was on shift during both collapses. Experts testified that insulin overdoses would cause rapid, life-threatening drops in blood sugar. Exactly what happened to both infants. The most heartbreaking case: baby E and baby I. Perhaps the most haunting testimony came from the parents of baby E, a boy who began bleeding from his mouth and nose during a night shift when Lucy was on duty. A pathologist testified that air in his bloodstream likely caused fatal internal bleeding. His mother gave emotional testimony that she had walked into the nursery to find Lucy standing over her child. And when she asked what was wrong, Lucy told her, "Trust me, I'm a nurse." Baby E died soon after. Baby I, a girl who endured multiple attacks, was another horrifying example. She survived 3 attempts on her life, only to die on the 4th. Each collapse happened during Lucy's shift. The prosecution called it a persistent campaign against a single infant. The psychological motive: control, chaos, and craving. Throughout the trial, the prosecution built a picture of Lucy Letby as someone who craved control in a world where she felt powerless. She messaged colleagues obsessively, often fishing for sympathy. She kept mementos of her victims, including photographs of them in their final moments. She searched grieving parents on Facebook late at night. And in that infamous handwritten note, she wrote, "I will never have children. I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough." Experts described her behavior as consistent with hero syndrome, causing harm to then appear as a savior. Others suggested deeper psychological issues rooted in inadequacy and a desperate need for validation. But prosecutors made it clear, whatever the motive, the result was cold-blooded murder. The defense: an innocent nurse scapegoated. Lucy's defense team painted a very different picture. They argued she was a hard-working, compassionate nurse who had been unfairly blamed for a series of tragic, unexplained deaths. They pointed to systemic failings at the Countess of Chester Hospital: chronic understaffing, poor infection control, faulty equipment, premature babies inherently at risk. Her lawyers argued the babies died of natural causes or medical complications, and Lucy was merely the unlucky nurse on duty. They also attacked the interpretation of the "I am evil" note, claiming it was not a confession but a desperate outpouring from a young woman wrongly accused. Throughout the trial, Lucy's demeanor became a subject of public fascination. Sometimes she wept quietly. Other times, she stared blankly ahead. During particularly harrowing testimony, especially from grieving parents, she often avoided eye contact. When confronted with the evidence, she repeatedly denied wrongdoing. "I only ever did my best," she told the court. "I never harmed a child. I would never do that." But jurors saw something else, a pattern too precise to ignore. The trial stretched on for 10 months, making it one of the longest murder trials in UK history. Over 110 witnesses testified. Jurors heard from parents, doctors, nurses, pathologists, and forensic experts. And slowly, piece by piece, the story formed. This was not incompetence. This was not coincidence. This was murder. After nearly 10 months of testimony and 22 days of deliberations, the jury at Manchester Crown Court returned to the courtroom in August 2023 with their decision. The tension was suffocating. Parents of the victims held hands tightly. Some sobbed quietly. Reporters filled every available space, cameras ready to capture a moment that would go down in British legal history. Lucy Letby, dressed plainly and seated in the dock, showed little expression as the foreman rose. "Guilty," he said, again and again and again. 7 counts of murder. Guilty. 6 counts of attempted murder. Guilty. 6 further counts. Jury hung, but prosecutors vowed to seek a retrial. Each time the word rang out, parents wept openly. Some cried tears of relief. Others stared silently at the woman who had taken their children from them. Lucy herself barely blinked, staring down at her hands as the guilty verdicts were read. On August 21st, 2023, Lucy Letby was brought before Justice James Goss for sentencing. It was a day Britain would not forget. In a rare and powerful statement, the judge addressed Letby directly, even though she refused to leave her cell to face the court. She listened via video link, silent and expressionless, as he spoke words that echoed across the nation. There was a deep malevolence bordering on sadism in your actions. During the course of this trial, you have coldly denied any responsibility. You have shown no remorse. You are not only a murderer, but a calculated killer of the most vulnerable. You are the worst child killer in modern British history. The judge handed down the harshest sentence available under British law, whole life order, meaning Lucy Letby will never be released from prison. She became only the 4th woman in UK history to receive such a sentence, joining names like Rose West and Joanna Dennehy. After sentencing, grieving parents were given the chance to speak. Their victim impact statements painted a picture of pain, rage, and unimaginable loss. One father, whose twin son baby A was murdered and daughter baby B survived, said, "You have taken everything from us, our hopes, our dreams, our family. We will never forgive you. Every birthday, every milestone is a reminder of what you stole." The mother of baby E and baby F told the court, "I walked in and saw you standing over my son as he bled. I trusted you. I let you hold him, and you killed him." Some parents admitted they had considered suicide. Others described how the joy of new life had turned into lifelong trauma. All agreed on one thing: justice, though delivered, could never undo the pain. The verdict sparked a national reckoning. The Countess of Chester Hospital, once considered a trusted regional facility, faced blistering criticism. Doctors like Dr. Stephen Brary and Dr. Ravi Jayaram testified that they had raised concerns about Lucy as early as 2015, but hospital executives dismissed them, accusing the doctors of bullying and pressuring them to apologize. Had they been listened to, prosecutors argued, several lives might have been saved. The UK government announced an independent public inquiry into the hospital's handling of the case, focusing on how a serial killer was allowed to operate unchecked for over a year. To this day, Lucy Letby has never admitted her crimes. She has never explained why. Psychologists and investigators continue to debate her motive. The leading theories include power and control. She orchestrated crises to be the hero who saved the baby, or to wield life and death itself. Attention-seeking. She messaged colleagues during collapses, searched parents on Facebook, and inserted herself into grieving families' lives. Deep psychological disturbance. Her note, "I am evil. I did this," suggests self-loathing mixed with rage, perhaps at her own inability to have a family. But because Letby has never confessed, the full truth of her motives may never be known. The legacy, a nation forever changed. Lucy Letby's case changed Britain. It forced the NHS and the government to confront painful questions. How could one nurse evade suspicion for so long? Why were whistleblowers silenced? And how do we prevent such evil from happening again? Memorials were held for each of the victims. Candles lit in tiny memory boxes. Hospitals across the UK reviewed their neonatal safety protocols. Families who had once walked into the Countess of Chester Hospital full of hope now visit cemeteries instead. Today, Lucy Letby is held at HMP Low Newton, a high-security women's prison in Durham, England. There she lives under strict isolation, monitored constantly due to concerns for her safety. She has appealed her conviction. Her legal team filed a notice of intent in September 2023, but legal experts believe the chances of overturning the verdict are slim. Meanwhile, families of her victims continue to speak out, determined that their children's names, though protected by law, are never forgotten. As one mother said during a memorial service, "She took our babies, but she will never take their memory. They are loved. They are remembered. And she will die in prison knowing that." The Lucy Letby case stands as one of the darkest chapters in British medical history, a story of betrayal in a place meant for healing, and of a predator who walked undetected among the innocent. It's a reminder that evil does not always come with a warning sign. Sometimes it wears scrubs, sometimes it smiles, and sometimes it's trusted with the very lives it intends to destroy. Lucy Letby, nurse, murderer, and now Britain's most notorious child killer, will spend the rest of her life behind bars. Justice, though delayed, was not denied. Tell us your thought in the comments section. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because here at True Crime C8D, we tell the stories you'll never forget. Remember to decease from crime, 'cause crime don't pay.